It will be 2 p.m. and I will begin talking in earnest about why I am streaming today. But for now, just for one more minute, I'm going to continue quietly sewing on this pennant in front of me. Can't get distracted while you're sewing. It has to be a straight line. If you don't make a straight line, you look very silly when everything's done. I mangled my finger in this the other day. You have to also be very careful to pay attention that you don't stick your finger in the moving part of the sewing machine. I'm sure that modern sewing machines aren't like this. But the reason why I'm at my sewing machine right now is because what I am making is a piece of what I would call merch. I'm going to, starting today, activate paid subscriptions for my Substack. The Stone Unfurled has been putting out the serialized version of the first book, First Last Chance, for about 6 months now. And during that time, I've put out a weekly podcast episode every week. It's free and it's available for anybody to listen to. And I have some people listening to it and they like it and it's good. So I want to keep doing this and I'm going to activate the paid subscription tiers. What this means is, first off, I do not want to paywall anything. I understand that for people who have money and are paying for the stuff like this, it makes them go, well, what do I get? Why do I want something that isn't paywalled? Or rather, sorry, why would I want to go beyond, why would I want to pay for something if I'm not going to get anything for it? And that is what this is for. No, I'm not going to sew you a suit to wear to the unveiling, so much as I'm going to make this and a few other things to go as premium awards. Now, the first tier for subscription will just be a free ebook. That's very easy. I can just send it to you. It's an EPUB. And for the next 6 months, it will be a copy of First Last Chance. And the second tier will be an audiobook. So if you really enjoyed listening to First Last Chance and would like to listen to it again, the audiobook will essentially be it without opening and closing credits, which means that it is, I think, a very bingeable and easy to consume version of the product. The second tier and first tier being digital products. The third tier, I want to be something very premium. And so that is why I'm sitting at my sewing machine right now, putting together something that I think is just going to be really beautiful and fantastic. Spoiler alert, I've put a few of these together off camera so that I can make mistakes and mangle my finger and scream and use curse words without embarrassing myself on a live stream. So I know that they turned out good, and I'm going to show you in just a moment how good they can be. This first one, I'm not going to finish all the way on camera today, but I'm going to go ahead and get it to the point where I can turn it back right side out, and you can kind of see where the design is going. And once I've got that finished, you can see where the design is going, I will pull out a completely finished one and we will look together at a fully finished product. And these are going to be part of a larger package that the tier 3 subscribers, the legendary or founders pack or whatever you want to call it, this is what they would be receiving if they bought into it. And it's not just going to be one of these beautiful pennants. It's also going to be a hand-embroidered presentation bag with a signed print copy of the book and a bookmark. And the bookmark, the tassel of the bookmark, I've also made that myself. It comes from dissecting lobster rope. And I don't know how much about maritime stuff people who are consuming this know, but lobster rope is the rope that they use in making lobster traps and fish nets. And it is a very rugged maritime rope. I've taken it apart to make thinner pieces, which will be what makes up the tassel of the bookmark. The bookmark itself is made from high density polyurethane, which shrinks after I've printed a design on it and then thrown it in the oven. All right, we are almost at the reveal for this. Just got to do a back stitch. You have to do a back stitch. If you don't do a back stitch, it just comes unraveled later when you're not looking. Just a little back stitch is enough, though. So now let's take these last pins out. And do I have a little tiny pair of scissors? I do. Everyone loves a giant man with a little pair of scissors. It's such an amusing thing. Okay. Now, these are so cool. To me, I think these are very cool. What is inside this is a beautiful flag. And you think the edges look like pillows right now? That's true, they do. But actually, the second step, which I won't do on camera today, is to do what's called a French seam, where you basically run it through the sewing machine again. And to give you an idea of what that looks like, I'm going to pull out the very first of this Founders Tier subscriber rewards package, the one that I'm going to be sending out soon, because I already have one person who has been asking to contribute, and it isn't my mom. Amazing already. And this is what they're going to receive. And I think this is a really premium package. So you will have this beautiful, semi-beautiful, hand-embroidered bag that I've put together myself. As you can see, I'm not very good at embroidery. The moon is a little crooked. I may try to remake that again and get it better. The more times you do something, the prettier it looks. And inside of it, I have this flag. And I've set it up with a spine and a little bit of 3/16 sash cable to make it resemble a maritime signal flag. Oh, it's so hard to get it all to fit in frame. So, I've got this brass hook on one end and a loop on the other end. When you're hanging flags on a halyard, typically they string next to each other because you have flags like this that represent individual countries. And you also have flags that represent letters or signals like ship in distress. And so you would string them up one after another, much like this. And my idea is that as the series continues, each book will have a different flag. And someone who actually enjoys the series and wants to collect them will be able to have a string that has a flag from each of the books. This is book one. It has the Korovokian Empire's flag. This is the faction that the protagonist grew up in, and this is like his people. The next book is going to feature a lot of a different faction called the Guild of Sovereign Seafarers, and they're going to have a blue and gold satin flag. I think they're going to be very distinct flags, but they're going to look beautiful next to each other. Next, of course, you'll get a signed copy of the book with your bookmark. It's a glossy thing with a lovely design. It's slightly translucent. When light is behind it, it has a sort of jade-like quality that I think is really lovely. And this is the tassel that I made from dissecting some lobster rope. Lobster rope comes in a wide variety of colors, blue, white, green. I found one that's a sort of aquamarine, and then I speckled it with a bit of golden paint. And I think it looks really lovely and pretty. And then, of course, the copy, the print copy you get will be signed, and I'll write a little note in it, and that would be nice. And in the case of David, who has been so supportive, I'm also giving him a handwritten letter. And I think, considering how few of these I'm probably going to sell, I'll probably put a handwritten letter in every single one of them. Now, this leads me to the next thing. I've mentioned having a second book. And, in the second book, we're going to have this other faction. In the second book, we're going to do this. So in terms of where we are with the second book, I am happy to say that the manuscript is right here. It is almost entirely completed. It's out with the beta readers now. I've given it to 4 beta readers. 2 of them have completed it. One of them has given me a full annotated copy. In fact, this is one of those annotated copies. I am going to leave this Friday to go out of town, and where I am going, there is another one of these waiting for me, fully annotated. And so it is my hope that when I return, I will spend a couple of weeks doing some rewrites and getting into that final draft. And once I've done that, I can begin production on the second book in the series as an audiobook, as the sort of audiobook podcast that I've been doing already, with voices and sound effects, the whole 9 yards, music. I'm going to produce this just as much, if not more so, than I did First Last Chance, and I'm going to put it out once again for free. Obviously, I'd love it if people bought some print copies, subscribed to the podcast, or bought ebooks. Anything at all would be nice, but I still like it as a free product. I don't want ads on it. I remember a time when I was a long haul trucker and I would have killed to just find anything more to listen to. I went through so many audiobooks all the time. I think that it's important to me that I serialize it in some way like this. I think that builds interest. And I think if enough people like it, I will get those sales. I'm not really extremely worried about the money so much as I'm extremely worried that it won't ever become popular. But this book is really interesting. I think it's just as good as the first one. It weighs in at just over 160,000 words, just like the first one did. It is the same characters that we came to love in the first book. They are in a strange and interesting new place, and they get wrapped up in a very complicated scheme. And we play it all the way through, and I think it has a very satisfying ending. I hope that everyone will join me again next year, once again on October 31st. I'm sorry, that's this year. It's not 2025 anymore. I hope everyone will join me again on October 2021st. Jesus, I'm stumbling over everything I'm saying. I hope everyone will join me again on October 31st, 2026, for the very first episode of The One That Got Away. I think it's going to be a really good book, just as good as the first one. And I want to keep making these. And I've really enjoyed the small but incredibly enthusiastic reaction I've gotten from my fans so far. I'm extremely gracious, and I hope that someone finds it and it makes them feel good. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you, Sci-Fi Vertelion, for joining us. my one viewer of my stream. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day.